Step 3, fertility religion. Civil religion turns quickly into fertility religion because the survival of the human race of a given ethnic group or tribe or clan does depend on the prudent management of the group's reproductive potential. Sexual mores that are thought to promote social survival and flourishing are built into roles and enforced with laws and regulations, attendance, rewards, and sanctions. Thus integrated and institutionalized, publicly approved social roles are easy to learn and are constantly reinforced. By contrast, patterns of sexual activity that are thought to be subversive of social survival are denied any institutional definition or housing. Once again, they're cast into outer darkness with weeping and gnashing. Because such behaviors and lifestyles premised on them seem traitorous, society sets up taboos against them. They are not just wrong, they should be rendered unthinkable. People caught engaging in them should not merely be punished, they're beyond the pale. They forfeit their place in private and polite society. Sexuality thus becomes a participating symbol of social survival. Sexual behaviors not only have concrete consequences, but symbolic punch. Female purity becomes an emblem of social integrity. The violation of women, a natural sign that the community boundaries are losing definition. The traditional white wedding dress not only makes a claim about the individual girl's social chastity, it pays public tribute to social norms and asserts the community's right to go on in the prescribed way. Obviously, groups that fail to reproduce themselves will die out, but the steam around these sexual mores is generated not by the practical effects of this or that individual transgression, but by what it symbolizes. For animals in a world of scarcity, survival is a desperate issue, and collective ruin is what sexual offenses come to mean. So, true religion's use of social analogies already makes God complicit in sexual mores and taboos of the societies in question. When true religion gets conflated with civil religion, it turned into fertility religion. God is made the authorizer and organizer of fertility religion. And God is drafted into the role of shoring up institutions with commandments and sanctions and denouncing the absolutely intolerable as abominations to the Lord. Because true religion gets its bearings from tradition, the effect is cumulative and conservative. God is made to stand behind a whole range of sexual institutions, prohibitions, and taboos that originally went with societies very different from our own. I'm told that we are running short of time, so I will have to eliminate my proof cases. But it's not hard to see how this slide from true religion to civil religion to fertility religion happens in the Levitical Code, for example. And it's not hard at all to see how this slide happens within the Vatican documents. I'm really sorry not to be able to present those to you, but some of you attended a workshop in which these were presented at great length. There's one more step after this conflation, which is the rationalizing of taboos. Because basically, what you get when you make all that conflation is that God is the authorizer of the sexual taboos of ancient societies that are very different from our own because of the way the theological mapping and the social conservatism works. But of course, sex and gender conservatives don't want to think of themselves as just taboo mongers. They want to think of themselves as moral reasoners who can commend their views to all and sundry. And so what really happens, you can see this in Vatican documents easily. So there's a move from, we must do what right reason dictates, or the natural law ought to be observed, and any social laws that are incompatible with natural law have no validity. And then they plug in the premises, of course, that homosexual lifestyles are contrary to nature and not in accord with right reason. You can see this over and over again in the Vatican documents. But of course, that begs the questions. You can say, well, you might concede that one ought to go by what the natural law dictates, but what is the natural law? Don't we have to discover that empirically in part by looking at the range of behaviors that enable human lifestyles and so forth? And so basically what happens is that the taboo defense is dressed up as moral reasoning, but this is a ruse because they've plugged in their taboo conclusion, the particular premise that this lifestyle is contrary to nature but that one is the one that's in accord with it, is already supplied by the traditional taboos. Wait. Well, thank you for agreeing with me, but I'm not going to quit just yet, because, anyway. Okay, so I just have one more thing to wrap it up, okay, which is this. Okay, so I think the three Abrahamic faiths are caught in this bind, and that the right resolution is to repent. And that one should repent, first of all, of the strong argument from tradition, and recognize that there's more than one way to respect tradition. You can respect it by taking it seriously, but by questioning and disputing it. And that's what modern Christians ought to do. Our forebears saw something, but they didn't see everything. They missed a lot of things, and we need to uproot the taboos that they inherited from fertility religion. And basically, then I think that renunciation of tradition, of the strong argument from tradition, would also lead you to a renunciation of fertility religion, which would then lead you to a reconsideration of what the theology of life ought to imply for modern people nowadays. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.